Hello, princesses, and welcome back to Not Fit for Print Beauty with me, Rebecca. Today we have a brand new product from Melt Cosmetics, and this is one that may not seem exciting, but I actually want to convince you that it is a pretty cool release. We have all 5 shades of the brand new Melt Slick Waterline Pencils. So they have 5 different shades. We're going to talk all about them, what their purpose is, what I also think they can be used for. We are going to do some comparisons because something popped into my mind right away, maybe yours, and look at them in 2 different lightings plus a little demo to achieve the look that you see right here. So let's go ahead and get started. So Melt introduced the Melt Slick Waterline Pencils. Primary purpose to go in the waterline. So these are 5 different shades. We're going to look at all 5 in a moment of kind of nude, matte, in all kind of, 5 variations, color gradients, 5 matte shades that are meant to go in the waterline to brighten the eye. You could tight line with them, but we're going to talk about it. You can also carve out your brows, use them as a concealer, use them as a matte eye look, use them as a graphic liner. There's a lot of things you can do with these. So there's 5 shades. Ivory, as you can see here, is kind of a really pale one, but we're going to look at them in 2 different lights. We have Apricot Cream, that's this one here, kind of a pale one with a little bit of an orange tint to it, or a warmer tint to it, I should say. Caramel, which is really a warm shade right there. Olive, which is a very yellowy shade, not very, well, I guess green olive it should be called, because it's got a very yellowy cast to it. And then a nice deep dark chocolate brown, which they call cocoa. So I want to first show you, we're going to do some comparisons. I want to tell you what I thought about when I first saw these. But first, let's look at them in studio lighting on my arm. I hope that you can see ivory. It blends in with my skin there. But take a look at them in studio lighting just on my arm. We are going to take them outside in a moment, but I want to do a few comparisons. And on my arm there, they do go in the order I just showed you. Ivory, apricot, cream, caramel, olive, and cocoa, of course, at the end. I thought of a few things when I thought of these. First thing I thought of was the brand new Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal Liner in olive. And I thought, whoa, what a difference in olive, because hers is so much more of a forest green, but still called olive. And she does have one called cocoa, so that came to mind right away. You're gonna see those right now underneath. There is the same pencils from Melt, and underneath it we have Victoria Beckham Olive. Look at the difference in the 2 olives. And of course cocoa, which is a slight difference, very slight difference. Looks like the Victoria Beckham may be a little bit of a lighter shade. The Melt has a little bit more of a darkness to it, I think. And then when I first saw these, when I saw these advertised, when I saw them working with them almost as a matte shadow on Instagram, I immediately went, could this be what the Charlotte Tilbury Matte Ice to Mesmerize should have been? Now, I know, you're going to go, Rebecca, they're not the same product. One is a pencil, one is a potted eyeshadow. Have you finally lost it? No, I swear I haven't. They're a potted eyeshadow, but when you get the material out, it's just kind of a creamy and not so creamy, in the Charlotte product, matte look. And but really hard to work with, really stubborn, and like cement. So I thought, could these be a little bit better? So let me show you what I did here. Here's the same swatches again, but over the top I've added just 3 shades just to show you from the Charlotte Tilbury Matte Ice to Mesmerize. There's above it, there's beige, then smoky taupe, and chocolate veil. That's on the top with those same other swatches from Melt and Victoria Beckham underneath. And what I did was I took that exact same arm and I walked outside with it into the warm California sunshine. And here it is outside. Take a look at all of these colors outside. In the middle there, we still have our Melt shades, all 5 of them, ivory, apricot, cream, caramel, olive, and cocoa, with the Victoria Beckham olive and cocoa at the bottom, and 3 of the Charlotte Eyes to Mesmerize matte up top. I know that the Charlotte is meant for the eyes and that the Melt is meant for the waterline. But when I first saw the Charlotte, I thought, could that be, if you got the right soft brush, could that work in the waterline? I haven't tried it yet. Have any of you tried the Charlotte Matte Eyes to Mesmerize in the waterline? I don't know if we should be doing that. I don't know if it's meant for it. But hey, if the Melt waterline pencils can be used on the eye, vice versa. And I will say right now, I think that this is kind of a more usable version of the Charlotte Tilbury product. I know it's in pencil form, not pot form, but stay with me there. In terms of wearability, let me just show you my arm here. So here is, they're the Victoria Beckham shades, and I scrubbed them with some water and a makeup eraser, and the melt came off the easiest. Look at the Charlotte. That was a lot of scrubbing. It's still on there. And so really the staying power is still with the Charlotte, second with the Victoria Beckham. And these came off, the melt came off the easiest, but they are wearing on my eyes pretty darn well. And I will have an update with a wear test a little bit later. What I want to do now is come back with no eye makeup whatsoever on. And we're going to play with all 5 of these Melt Slick Waterline pencils and take a look at them and then have a little wear test. And I want to show you and think about all the different ways that you can use these little babies. I think they're actually pretty cool. So stay right there. Okay, let's get to it. I want to try to work with all 5 of them. Let me tell you what I'm armed with. My fingers, I promise I'll be careful around the eyes, I promise. I have a Sonia G Builder 2, and I have 2 BK Beauty synthetic brushes from the Angie Hot and Flashy set, which I'm really enjoying. And I'm going to kind of try to use everything. Yes, these are meant for the waterline, but Melt is definitely also using them in their social media presentations to do full eye looks. They're also using them for graphic eye looks, which I am not a graphic eye look type of lady, but they're using them for all of that. So let's start with the apricot cream, because I thought maybe that wouldn't be too harsh. And we're going to have to do kind of one eye at a time. I can't put this on and move because it does kind of dry. So what happens if I just kind of take the apricot cream and just kind of gently, don't worry, gently, look at how beautifully that blends. I have to say it, I wish that our Charlotte products did that. That was a dream and super easy. And I think you could tell how gentle I was. I did not pull my eyelid. We don't need any of that. And you can also use a brush, but look, you guys, I'm barely even touching the lid. You can see that the skin on my eyelid isn't even moving. And what that would also make, of course, you don't need me to mention it, is a very lovely base to apply eye makeup on top of. I can use, for the under eye in the waterline underneath, a bright shade definitely makes you look awake. And we used to in the past, if you remember, use white. To me, white still makes me go, oh. So I've decided rather than the ivory, we'll use the ivory in a moment, but rather than the ivory, I think I'm going to actually stick with this apricot cream, the second next to lightest shade in the waterline. So pardon me while I also gently pull down. Oh, you guys, I barely have to touch my eyes with this. Barely have to touch it. It kind of goes on almost above. Again, not pulling, being very gentle, I promise. Okay, so now both eyes have this in the waterline, and I have just kind of placed it on top of the lid. Nothing that shows too much. Let's just experiment with this ivory shade, which is the lightest. I'm wondering if I were to just kind of close my eye and just kind of put it right there. That would probably also work in the waterline, but I just kind of wanted to see what it's like. Just kind of in there. You know what this almost works as? It's almost like a concealer. I mean, usually we would put a little bit of a sparkle in there, but this is almost like a concealer. And if you are somebody who is blessed with talent to carve out eyebrows, that is not me, but if you are, that would definitely work for that too, one of these lighter shades. As you see, I just put a little bit there and a little bit in the center, which can work. Any of these shades, actually, depending on your skin tone, could go into this area here where so many of us get a little bit of a darkened area, and you could pick any one of these depending on your skin tone and do a little bit of camouflaging. Okay, so those are those 2 shades. Let's move over here to the caramel, which is our 3rd shade. And remember, I was a little bit of a piggy and I got all of them. And I am going to just kind of paint the lid and just a little bit up. And again, I'm still using my fingers, even though I introduced you to my brushes. So maybe on the other eye, I will use the brushes. And we still have to do the to tight line above. Let me take my Builder 2 from Sonia G now, and I'll show you how easy that works. I know you guys would probably prefer that to fingers. Is that a little better, guys? Okay. Promise I didn't pull the eye, though. Promise. Okay. And so far, I'm getting a very sophisticated matte look, very easily. I understand that the Charlotte Tilbury product is not in a pencil for a reason. I understand that. But I'm just saying, this is just so much easier. Not that she should have put them in a pencil, but I'm just getting that look. Here's the olive color, which is a very kind of yellowy olive. And I'm just kind of doing the outside of the eye. Let me take that Builder 2 again. Although I have my BK Beauty ones too at the ready. But I don't really mind if I kind of mix shades. And I'm just really doing, you guys, I'm just seeing what it would do. I would say this would be beautiful as just kind of a barely there matte look, or to set the eyes. I mean, any makeup you put over the top of this, you guys, would really have a nice base on which to set. This is not pulling the eyes. Look at it, and it just moves exactly where I want it to go, like a shadow would, really. And like I wish we had, I keep saying it, Charlotte's Perform. Now let's take a look at the darkest shade here, which is Cocoa, the darkest Melt shade, which is Cocoa. I have told you guys this before. There's nothing like the sharpened point of a brand new pencil. Lip pencil, eye pencil, number 2 pencil, I suppose. You never kind of repeat it. Okay, so let's take it and do the tight line above, which means I'm just going to gently, very gently again, guys, and I barely have to touch anything. Go right where the lashes meet. It kind of extends your lashes so that when I put on mascara, pardon my middle finger, that is not to be rude. And I know that the skin is going up, but don't pay attention to that. Let's do a little bit underneath the eye here and a little bit here. Take my brush and just kind of blend that out. See what happens with that. So this is not a very dramatic look. You could probably make it more dramatic. I'm just experimenting here, so I'm not quite sure what to expect. And I'm just kind of darkening the corner. It's kind of pretty. Okay, so I already have some thoughts. I'm going to leave this just as its own eye look, and I'm going to put on just some mascara, and we're going to chat about it. I have actually a lot of thoughts here, some of which I've shared, some of which I am forming as we go here, so stay right there. Okay, we're back. You know, Melt are really sweet. If you order from Melt Cosmetics online, they'll often include a little treat, a sticker. They included a hand sanitizer once at the beginning of the pandemic, and this time they gave me 2 eyeshadow shades. I'm not sure which ones they are. The light's reflecting on them, but I'll put it in there. And so I thought they were so pretty. Let's just use a little bit of the golden shimmer shade just to add just a little bit of sparkle just in the middle, you guys, because I am not a huge matte eyeshadow fan, can you tell? And I think that just adds a little bit in there. This doesn't come with it. It just happened to come with mine because they always include little treats. And I just think that just brings it up, elevates it, I should say, just a little bit. Pardon that mirror in front of you. So look, I know that an all matte eye look using pencils might not be your cup of tea. I just wanted to play with it and see how it was done. I think the reason most people would be purchasing these is to have them work in the waterline. So let's talk about both of those things, okay? Number 1, I could see this as a perfect waterline or tight lining pencil. They are soft. They are smooth. I have been wearing this look minus the shimmer for hours, and they have not moved, and they have not gone down my face, and they are staying put. So far, so good. I will, upon editing, since I will not be, I won't be publishing this video for another day or so. So right here, I will put how they lasted until evening. So look down there. So I think they would be a really good choice. They do not tug. They are not rough. And they have that ability that you barely have to, it almost feels like you're hovering above the waterline or when you're tight lining, and that's really nice because it's not irritating, and I would not think would come off on contacts and such. Now, I cannot speak to how they would stay in the waterline. Simo, who is one of our members of our community here, is having no luck finding an eyeliner that will stay on her eyes, and I could not believe that my go-to Pat McGrath Permagel wouldn't stay on her waterline, but it does not. So, different eyes, different things, but for mine, so far, look for that update that I pointed out earlier, so far, so good. So they would be great for that, and definitely non-irritating, smooth, easy to sharpen, just a normal. A lot of people ask me when they have this plastic kind of here, how do you sharpen them? Just like a pencil, believe it or not, just stick them in the sharpener and crank them. You would be surprised how many people are confused by that. So if it was you, you're not alone. I know it's plastic and not seemingly wood, but it sharpens just like a regular pencil and a regular sharpener. So they would be great for that. Number 2, fantastic as an eye primer for a few things. Number 1, as I mentioned, you can pick your skin tone and have a little bit of a concealer for in here that is pointed and goes in super easily, as you saw me do, and really covers that area nicely. Also, if you suffer from veins that show on the lids and you just kind of want to get that away, this would be great to just prime the eyes, make a nice smooth canvas. It also, as you saw, does do a very pretty kind of matte look, the type that I wish the Charlotte Tilbury product, I'll stop saying it, would have done. I mean, I'm not saying that the Charlotte Tilbury product doesn't do it, but it's just harder to use. These are very user-friendly. They give you a lot of playtime. Please do one eye and then the other. Don't let it sit. Once it sits, it's kind of there for good, and that's a good thing. So it's a great prime, or it will do kind of a fun look or a graphic look if you like to do play with that kind of look with graphics, or as I said earlier, carving out the brows, doing a little bit of camouflage. I bet even if you matched your skin shade well, you could get in around the nose or a little mole or something. You could probably also add a freckle. If you can work that kind of magic, you could do that as well. So these matte shades, their uses are really endless, and it seems to be a very lovely product. Plus, I am kind of amazed that I got the bundle for $65 when they're $19 each. I am no math major, but that is a pretty good savings. So let me know your thoughts on this and how you think they compare to other matte. If you were to buy these, let me know what you would buy them to use for. What would you think would be your best bet with something like this? I think it's a really good product from Melt. Sometimes I have trouble with their eyeshadow shades, but I'm telling you, the Perfectionist lip pencils I am loving from a few months ago. These look to be absolutely lovely, and of course their blushes are always amazing. And their lipsticks I'm hit and miss with, so I don't love all their products, but I think this is a very, very good one. So I would love to know your thoughts. Please leave your comments below. Hey, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I sure hope that you did. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to my channel so that I can see you in the next video. Bye, guys.